Hello, my name is Muhammad Reza Lahab. I'm from English Department student of University of North Sumatra. I want to present in this video about how to use and analyze on software Praat. Before we continue to Praat, I want to tell you about this subject that using Praat, which is phonology. First, what is phonology? Phonology is the study of the pattern of sounds in language and across languages. Put more formally, phonology is the study of the categorical organization of speech sounds in language. How speech sounds are organized in the mind and used to convey meanings. In this section, we will describe the most and phonology is concerned with the abstract, whereas phonetic is concerned with the physical properties of sound. In phonetics, we can see infinite realization. For example, every time you say p, it will slightly different than the other times you've said. However, in phonology, all production are the same sound with the language phenom, phon, phoneme inventory. Therefore, even though every p is produced slightly different every time, the actual sound is the same. Now we know how the correlation between phonology and how to use Praat software. So, what is Praat software? Praat is a free computer software package for speech analysis in phonetics. It was designed and continues to be developed by Paul Boersma and David Winning of the University of Amsterdam. The program supports speech synthesis, including articulatory synthesis. Now, as you can see, that I already opened the app software. Now, there's no now on how to operating Praat. Now, as we can see, if we want to read the file, we need to select open and read from file, which will explore our intense sound to be analyzed. But in this time, I already selected it on two sounds, and this step we don't need it. Now, what is the sound on sound 1 and sound 2? Now, what I want to analyze is a sound from a Caronese people. Two Caronese people who once lived in the town and the others who live in the village back in Tanah Karo. So at first, I asked them to, and now both of them I asked to say the word "a new way to blackening the door." Before we continue, as we using Praat's analysis software, let's take a look on how the voice we use to sample.
A new way of blackening the door.
As we can see, the first sound, the number one sound, is from my friend, a Caronese people who live in the village at Tiga Binanga. And let's see at sound number 2.
A new way of blackening the door.
And look the difference. The sound number 2 were from my friend who happened a Caronese people, but born and lived in Medan from his child. Now, we are about to analyze it with Praat. As you can see, we can use this view at edit button. We can click it. Now, as we can see that that's
A new way. A new way.
that was fantastic. Now let's reslide it all the way till the end, and we can play it.
A new way of blackening the door. A new way of blackening the door.
Once on the sound number 2, we can find the same. Find it more.
A new way of blackening the door.
Now as we can already compare it, now we can see that from the below of these bars, there's a little bit blurry line that called spectrogram, as we can see from the sound number 2. Well, the horizontal line, it's called the timeline of the sounds. As we can see, there it goes up and down, and the vertical line here is called the frequency. That's why on this, when we click right over here, we can see that there is 4092 hertz. It's up to 5000 hertz. As we can see that over here. Now, so as you can see that this part is a little bit darker, so was in here. So the darker the line is more the frequencies can be heard. We can already conclude what is the difference on how the people that live on the village and people who live on this big city, on sound number 1,
A new way of blackening the door.
and sound number 2,
A new way of blackening the door.
there's a little bit gap between them. We can see them on them how to say and pronounce the word of blackening the door, which on this diagram, as we can see,
Of blackening.
yes, at this part,
Blackening. Blackening.
and here,
Blackening the
the word blackening. From the sound number 1, we can say that with the people of in sound number 1 still using and saying many of the words, even in an English word, with very thick accent, while on the sound number 2,
blackening
because he is live on the big city, he became familiar on what English word sounds, and we can also see that from
door.
Door.
from the word door. As you can see here, on sound number 1, he said
Door.
door with R, with r words. And on the sound number 2,
door, door,
he in sound number 2 he used a very thick English word. That's why he said door, not door. And it can be seen also right from the beginning, from the word new way. On sound number 1 he said,
New way.
well, on sound number 2 he said,
new way,
sound number 1 said new way, while sound number 2 said new way. That's why the people in the village were not familiar with the English word, and the people from the big cities were already familiarized with the English word. And both of them, even they're studying in English department, same as I, because they're still using the words that have a different accent. Their mother tongue is still using them, using the word that very different significantly from many accents in the big cities. So in conclusion, many people who live in different places also affecting not just their way of life or lifestyle, but also their speaking, on how they're using voice, on how they spelling the words, saying many words, even in English they still using their accent without their consciousness. And that's why Praat software were developed from the start, to understanding the many voices from many people. So that is all my presentation on this video about using Praat software to analyzing a different kind of voice, and how to compare it and analyzing many accents from different people and from different places. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for your attention, and see you next time.